Since its inaugural celebration in 1987, the VASJ Hall of Fame has recognized the leaders among us, those who embody the mission and values of our tradition and legacy through their extraordinary accomplishments and stalwart support for VASJ. Over the years, the Hall of Fame has celebrated our alumni from Villa Angela Academy, St. Joseph High School, and of course VASJ. We've honored the dedicated work of faculty, staff, and coaches who have made it their mission to educate, mentor, and support our students at a pivotal time in their lives. We've also recognized the dedication of our community members who understand the transformative power of a VASJ education. Many of our inductees have achieved incredible success in their respective careers, dedicated their lives to serving their communities, and used their gifts to directly impact the lives of our students. Each inductee showcases the endless possibilities that come from passion, hard work, and harnessing God-given talents. In a moment, you'll get to know our incredible 2024 Hall of Fame inductees. Each individual has played an integral role in the success of VASJ. They've done more than simply care. They've helped transform the lives of our students as educators, advocates for Catholic education, and tireless, committed supporters of our mission.
My name's Frank Sabigan. I'm from the St. Joe class of 1973. My time at St. Joe's was a great 4 years. I think the biggest thing that I learned is being part of something. When you came to school here, you got involved with over 440 people that were in our class and about 16 to 1,800 other kids here, and it was just an amazing thing of a sense of belonging. That was the great thing about being here at St. Joe's, is that it was a community that supported everyone all the time.
Hello, my name is Leo Wood, class of 1973 graduate. I have known Frank since high school. Frank has really stepped up, and the support of VA St. Joe's is somewhat contagious. He doesn't put pressure on people, but he does want to make sure that people see that the dollars that they're spending are going directly to assist and not waste. That every single dollar is helping another kid.
Well, some people ask me what makes me, or what attracted me back to VASJ, and I think it's a combination of things. I think first of all, there's a big influence in our class of 73 to be involved with the school here. But the other major thing I think that we look at is that the school still stands for everything that we had when we were here 50 some years ago. What it means to me really is just a tribute to my family. I have over 60 of my aunts, uncles, cousins that have come to this school, and between my mother, who's 94 years old and she'll be here tonight, my wife Amy and my 4 kids, all of that has made my life so much easier. So I hope all of the people that are in my life, including the class of 73, realize this is because of them, not because of me.
My name is Mary Dwyer Keeler, but I went by Tweety since I was a baby. My oldest brother gave me that name. I am a 1972 graduate of Villa Angela, last class out of the old school, which we're very proud of.
My name is Judy Olajar Salatel, and I graduated from Villa Angela in 1972. We were the last graduating class from the old castle, and I think that's awesome. Upon graduation, she actually taught at Villa Angela for about 5 years and touched many, many lives again, helping those girls get what we got.
I loved high school, and I went back and actually taught at VA for 5 years, and I've been involved with all our reunions every 5 years, and the ladies' night out, the baskets and bubbles and all of that, and can never do enough to give back to VA, and now VA St. Joe's.
We got something really special when we were at VA. I'll never forget the fun, the education, the empowerment that we received as women, young women in the 60s and 70s. It was a crazy time. She came back and gave back to those girls at Villa Angela and probably gave more than she got. Then the call went out, we'd like to have something of VA that will last at Villa Angela St. Joseph. And it became the Villa Angela Heritage Center. And they called Tweety. And Tweety was involved with about 5 or 6 other women, Betsy, Lahane, I have all their names. And they went through all the stuff and did so much work. But she would come down here, and she worked and worked and worked to get this room the way it looks now, and it's gorgeous.
I was down in Columbus on a Christmas shopping trip when I got the phone call from Tom. I was almost speechless, but usually I'm never speechless. But I was so honored. And I remember telling the people that I was with, which were my old neighbors and girls I'd gone to college with, and they went, "Oh, you loved VA." I said, "I know." I go, "This is so humbling and so wonderful to be honored in this way, for sure." And I think because of how much this place has always meant to me, it just is really kind of unbelievable, but also so humbling. And I think also I want to bring the whole committee with me, because it wasn't me, it was all of us that really contributed to this area right here.
My name is John Anthony Polking. Most people know me as Tony. I graduated St. Joseph High School class of '66. Graduated from the University of Dayton, taught high school here at the Viking Village for 5 years, then went to Garfield Heights High School and coached football there for 5. And then I got into the business world for the last, I don't want to say how many years.
So I am Dennis Kane. Bill was the oldest brother in our family of 6. He graduated in '66, and then we had boys in this school from 1962 to 1975. And when he got out of St. Joe's, he attended Cleveland State for a while. Tony Polking asked him to become his eyes, as Tony was the voice of the Vikings. Bill became the eyes of the Vikings as his spotter. And I think they announced games for 25, 26 years, somewhere in there.
So one day in August, I was at two-a-days, and John Story came up to me and said, "Tony, would you be interested in announcing our football games this season? The fellow that we had can't do it, and I think you can." And I said, "Well, John, what do I have to do?" He said, "Tony, you're a natural. With your coaching experience and your voice, you'll be fine." The rest is history. So the following season, I asked Bill if he'd do it. He said yes. That following basketball season, we started doing basketball, and we have just been friends, golly, until 2017. So many, many years.
I am Andrew Bank. I'm a 1995 graduate of Villa Angela St. Joseph High School. I am current Senior Athletic Event Communications Coordinator, otherwise known as Voice of the Vikings. When I think about Tony and Bill and the friendship that they had, it reminds me of myself and Chuck Hortovich. Chuck is he's my guy for football. He's my spotter. And I really do reflect a lot about Tony and Bill and the friendship that they had over decades. I think when we first started talking about Tony and Bill getting into the Hall of Fame, the first thing I had in my mind was the pencil drawings that they do for all the Hall of Famers. And in my head for years, I've just seen Tony and Bill on that pencil drawing in my head, and I just really think it's something that absolutely needs to happen, and I couldn't be prouder for both of them today. But to have that hanging in the halls of this school, it's just, I've seen that pencil drawing in my head for years, and I'm glad it's finally coming to fruition.
Being inducted into the Hall of Fame, for me, is a humbling experience. And quite frankly, I'm not sure, and I probably shouldn't say this, if I would have accepted being inducted without Bill.
Bill would be humbled because he would have never thought that he should have been. And he would have pushed for his buddy Tony to be in the Hall of Fame and would have been his proudest supporter and biggest fan if Tony walked into the Hall of Fame by himself. But to know that he is included and to be able to walk in with his friend of 70 some years would just stagger him.
When I look at Bill and I look at the Viking Village, I first walked in this gymnasium in 1959. It just gets in your system. And with Bill, I just think he's part of that also.
On behalf of the entire Villa Angela St. Joseph community, we congratulate you and say thank you to the 2024 VASJ Hall of Fame class. Because of you, the bar is set higher for all of us. You are an inspiration, and we're so very proud to call you one of our own.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready?